Hi everyone, in this video we will be looking at another type of factorization which is called difference of two squares. Now I personally think this type is really fun. You can be the judge for yourself. Now let's look at this example here, what we have, right? So we have x minus 2 times x plus 2. We would have done this expanding this in one of our previous videos, expanding two sets of brackets, and we would have gotten this answer x squared minus 4. And I would have mentioned back then that this is called difference of two squares. Now, so usually we get the expanded version and we have to remove the brackets and we simplify, right? But now we are given, for difference of two squares, we are given this form here where we have the squared form and we need to get it in the brackets form, right? That factorized notation right there, right? Now, the general form for difference of two squares is, so for example, if I have x squared minus y squared, the general form is the x, which is the first term that there, minus the y by x plus y in the second brackets. Or you could have the x plus y first and then the x minus y second. Doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what order you have it in. Now, we're going to look a little more at that example that we have at the top there. X squared plus 2, x squared minus 4. So remember I mentioned that the generalized version for difference of two squares is x squared minus y squared, meaning you have two squared terms and you're subtracting because it's different, right? And the general form is x minus y, x plus y. Similarly, with this example here, we have x squared minus 4. Now, x squared is clearly a squared term, right? Because you're seeing the squared here. But you need to recognize that 4 is a squared number, right? And 4 could be written as 2 squared, right? So it's important to know your squared numbers, and we're going to look at that a little bit just now. So once we have it in this form now, so we have one squared term, take away another squared term. So then you can put it in the generalized form. Is this the first letter, or whatever is a number or letter. So here is x, take away the second one, which is 2, and in next bracket, you just add them, x plus 2, right? And that is my answer. Now, we're going to look at some squared numbers. You're supposed to know the first 25 squared numbers, and you actually would have met them before, probably just didn't know the term, right? So as I mentioned, the first 25, I left 35 here, sorry. The first 25 numbers, you're supposed to know this, how to square them, right? And these are the first 25 numbers are your squared terms, right? I apologize, the 25, that's supposed to be 25 here, right? 25 squared, right? All right, so 1 squared, remember, when you square a number, it's 1 by 1, the number by itself, right? 26, 49, 64, 81, 100. You need to just be familiar with these numbers up to 25 squared, right? So let's be easier for you when you have to do a factorization question, and so you'll know it's difference of two squares, because remember, difference of two squares is one squared term, take away another squared term, right? So let's look at some more examples. So I have 3 examples here. The working is already there. We're going to go through it together, right? So the first one, we have x squared minus 25. Now you need to recognize that 25 is the same as 5 squared. So I could put it like that, right? X squared minus 5 squared. So now we have one squared term, take away another squared term. And then just put it in how the general form showed us, right? I'll just put the general form here. Have x squared minus y squared. The general form is x minus y, x plus y, right? So now I can put that in the general form. It'll be x minus 5, x plus 5. Pretty simple there, right? So that's the first one. Number 2, we have y squared minus 64. Now again, you must know your square terms. You need to recognize that 64 is the same as 8 squared, right? So now we have y squared minus 8 squared. And our final answer will be y minus 8 by y plus 8. And then for the last one here, m squared minus 100. Now that is the same as saying m squared minus 10 squared, right? So that would be m minus 10 by m plus 10. Pretty simple so far, right? So you realize you should recognize a pattern by now, right? So we'll look at 3 more examples. So again, this is to factorize. Now these may look a little bit different, right? But again, you need to recognize square numbers, right? So 16 minus x squared. You need to recognize that 16 is same as 4 squared. So that's 4 squared minus x squared. So you have one squared term, take away a next squared term. So my final answer will be 4 minus x. The first one minus the next one, and the first one plus the second one, right? Let's look at number 2. 25x squared. Now you need to recognize again, as we saw before, 25 is same as 5 squared. So this is same as 5 squared x squared minus. Now 1 is the same as what? 1 squared. 1 by 1 is 1, right? So this is really 5x all squared minus 1 squared. So my final answer will be 5x minus 1, 5x plus 1. Going good so far. And then number 3, right? Now, 36 is the same as what? 6 squared. So 6 squared, m squared minus 100 is the same as 10 squared, right? Y squared. And then that could just be written as 6m all squared minus 10y all squared. And then my final answer here would just be 6m take away 10y in brackets, and the second bracket 6m plus 10y. Again, it's a pattern. You're going to get used to it. Just keep on practicing, right? So here I have 5 questions. And as I always tell you, pause the video, try the questions first, and then continue looking at the video so you can see the answers and really test yourself, right? All right. So we have first one, x squared minus 144. I will do it up here, right? So x squared minus 144. Again, x squared, 144 is same as 12 squared, right? So you're going to get x minus 12 plus 12 in the second bracket, right? I could do number 2 right next door here, which is p squared minus 9, right? So that's p squared, 9 is the same as 3 squared. So that is p minus 3 in the first bracket, p plus 3 in the second bracket, right? Let's look at number 3 now. We have y squared 25. Y squared minus 625 is the same as 25 squared. So you see how it's important to know your square numbers, right? So this is the answer, be y minus 25 and then y plus 25. All right, number 4. 36x squared minus 100. So 36 is same as 6 squared, and we already have the x squared there, minus 100, which is same as 10 squared. So this is 6x all squared minus 10 squared. So that's 6x minus 10 brackets, and then 6x plus 10 in the second brackets. And then last one, number 5. 4x squared minus 16. So 4x squared. So I'm going to jump the gun a little bit, right? So 4 is same as 2 squared, right? So all this will be 2x all squared, right? Minus 16, just 4 squared. So your final answer will be 2 by 2x plus 4. That's in my second bracket, right? So again, it's a pattern, but you need to know your square numbers because let me just show you something quickly, right? So what if you had something like, and this could tie up a lot of students, what if you had to factorize, let's say x squared minus, let's say 15, right? You see, the number 15 is not a squared number. I cannot say, I cannot put some number squared and I will get 15. You will not get 15. 15 is not a squared number, so you cannot use this difference of 2 squares for this method here, right? So just you need to know your squared numbers, right? So it's all about practice, you all. Okay, so I'll see you all in my next video.